Hello everybody, this is Jeremy within the DAW. Welcome back. Today's video is going to be taking a look at the brand new FA IRmageddon from Forward Audio. Not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but this has literally just been announced as far as the time of recording. We got an email like an hour and a half ago telling us that this is officially out, and they sent us a license asking us if we wanted to check it out. We obviously said yes, mainly because we have been beta testing the beta version of this, and we are really excited about this. Now, this is essentially a plugin that allows you to host third-party impulse responses and Forward Audio's impulse responses, modify them, and then use this little center section to kind of create a dry-wet blend of each individual impulse response. You can then alter it further by using roughness, character, bite, cab size, resonance, and area cue controls, and then consolidate it to turn it into one single IR, which will be loaded into slot A, or export it into an impulse response that you can use for your own hardware modelers or plugins. This thing can do a lot, and the reason why I'm going to go through this really quickly is because we will totally do a video just taking a look at this and really checking it out later on. For now, since this has literally just been announced to be finally released, let's just take a quick look at it. Now you have a really cool collection that this comes with as far as impulse responses, but they also give you some free impulse responses from Valhalla IR. Now this is an extremely small collection of impulses that they make, but it is a cool starting off point for getting some ideas. I like that one. Let's move on to D. I like that one. That's a JCM 900, 1980s with a Sennheiser E906 and a B2. I don't know what that is. I'm going to be a little honest with you. I don't really like that impulse response. You know what? Let's try it. I like MD421, so let's try it. So the next step is let me blend between all of these. And it kind of is like create your own blend. Which is really cool. Now you have a lot of other features like the ability to view the waveforms of each impulse response and view the frequency response. So as you can see, all of these impulse responses are, for the most part, pretty full range for impulse responses. This one has frequencies that go all the way down to 20 to 20. This one kind of drops off at 25 Hertz. And this one continues all the way through, while this one drops off at 25 Hertz. We can use a high pass filter. Now, the next step is the waveform view. Now, this is actually one of my favorite views because a lot of companies do not know how to make impulse responses. They do not know how to make their impulse responses start at the first sample. That means basically at sample 1, you're already going into the waveform that is the impulse response. If you have a delay, you will actually sometimes hear that inside of an amp modeler like my Line 6 Helix rack unit right here, which is a like $1,500 or $1,400 unit. And it does, for the most part, work very well with stuff like that, but it can sometimes get little hiccups. And then the Hot Tone Ampero, which is about a $400 to $500 unit that I love. I think some of the amp modelers are actually better on that than the Helix is, but not all of them. The Helix obviously has more options and more power, so I use the Helix more often. But my Ampero is down there, and it definitely cannot handle impulses that don't start at the first sample. It gets bogged down and has issues immediately. So this is a really cool way of just being like, hey, this doesn't start properly. Let's delay it. Let's change the blend. Let's expand it. Let's shrink it down. If we're using stereo mode, we can pan it left and right. Let's do that right now, actually. I mean, it doesn't really sound much better because these are all mono, but we can do that. Another thing is you can actually drag these around and put them into the compare IR section. I'm not going to really do that right now because I didn't really read the manual, so we're not even going to try and pretend we know how to do that, but it is a cool option to have. Now, let's start off by just refreshing everything. Go home here in the menu. And by clicking this, you basically tell all of them to go to where one instance is. So for this, I'm going to go for the IRs that Forward Audio sells and some of the ones that it comes stock with. And we're going to choose a couple IRs. The angle's pretty cool, but I really like the dual rectifier. That one sounds good. That one sounds good. And then for the sake of fun, we're going to use my own impulse responses. Mostly just because I want to show you how these can actually work with third-party impulse responses. I'm going to use one that I'm currently testing out. It's not a final impulse response that I'm going to be using, but we might give it away for free. I don't know. I'll probably also give away the impulse I make with this video. So go to the Helix. And another thing you can do is you can hit this F button and it will flatten out the folder. So you can actually have everything you have in that folder, even subfolders, just right there. I don't do it for my own stuff because I have like 1,000 impulse responses that I've made, but it's cool to have. We are going to go back. Let's see, we go Helix all the way down, go to IR mixes. These are my final IRs. And we'll do this one or this one. Okay, let's listen to the ones at the bottom. D. This is C. And this is D. Now let's go for something a little bit more. Yeah, that's different. Let's view the frequency response. And you can see that my impulse responses are actually pretty filtered down. I don't have anything past about 10K. I don't have anything under 25 Hertz unless it's this one impulse response that has it. And since they do start at the same time, we will have 0 phase issues. Let's check it out. I kind of dig that, but I feel like the Kali rectifier is a little bit too aggressive. Cool. That's not bad. And next, we can go down to the center section at the bottom, and we can kind of fine tune it. We can, first of all, view the final EQ curve that we have. So combining all of these together has turned into this. Now we can do some final tweaks. We can modify the roughness, which sounds to me like it's really changing the resonances as far as just the entire thing. We have bite. Which adds some nice mid-range frequencies. Helps it cut through a mix. Resonance, which basically adds low-end resonance. And it kind of works like a cabinet. So it's a great way of simulating bigger or smaller cabinets. You have character, which I don't really know what it does, but it just does good things. It makes everything sound better. We have cab size. And finally, air. Now I'm going to go with a little bit of roughness, a little bit less resonance. And we're going to bring that air back. And now we can actually do some fine-tuned tweaks. Add some more character. And I like that. We can do a dry wet blend. That's what we have coming out of my Helix. And that's what we have after. Now, if I want to, I can click this little cog and make sure that I'm going to have everything set up. My max IR length, my align to latency, my output volume, all of that is good. So I'm just going to export IR, Helix for now, and we will do test IRs. Boom. Now all I got to do is slap that, put it into my Helix, and I can actually play with that same IR. That sounds pretty good. Let's actually see the impulse that the Helix had in this preset. So that's what the Helix had going on. Let's turn it on. Now obviously we can gain a little bit of volume up. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's a pretty cool tone. It really did not take much time at all. This video is mostly taking time because of explanation. If I wanted to, I literally would just slap something in there, grab go, and I would be good to go. This is also a really great way of creating your own custom impulse responses that are not limited by copyrights and stuff like that, because they are your own custom blend that no one else makes or no one else has unless you give them the settings. If you are looking to create your own unique sounds and unique impulse responses, this is definitely a really cool thing to do. Keep in mind that you can also test things out by using the compare section. In my personal opinion, this thing is really cool, but I do find that it has some minor bugs, and I hope that gets fixed. And this is version like 1.001 or something. I noticed that the auto gain compensation when I'm switching between impulses does get a little bit wonky, but it does fix itself after a few seconds, so it's not that big of a deal, and I really think that it's something they can fix pretty soon. Obviously, if I want to really use the sound that I have, which is not that sound because I changed it up. I think it's this one. If I really like the sound, I just hit consolidate. And now all of these other ones are blank, and I have it all right here in one custom impulse response. And let's say I want to add another impulse that I have, and this one I think sounds really bad. Cool, let's use that bad impulse, blend it in with the good one. And then, use the cap size, character, a little bit of resonance. That looks like it's going to sound horrible. Doesn't sound horrible. That actually sounds way better. There you go. And then if I want to do that again, boom, I did it again. Really cool, really fun, really easy. And then once I'm here, I can obviously filter things out. Be like, you know what? Boom. And I'm good to go. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. This is IRmageddon within the DAW. Like I said, this is an extremely quick look. I've literally just installed this plugin today as of like 10 minutes before I started recording the video. So I'm not an expert on this, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview, taking a look at what it can do. Stay tuned because in about 2 weeks, I will be doing a full-on video on this, and I will show you guys how I like to do things and how I have integrated this into my workflow. One thing that I do is I make impulse responses myself, and then I kind of tweak them to taste. And this does exactly that very easily. If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button and give us a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing if you are a fan of this channel. We have a bunch of different content from EDM stuff that Kevin makes to podcasts that the co-founder of this channel, Ryan, and I are starting up, to more mixing and recording, and then now guitar-related videos that I make. We also are planning on bringing back some of our old friends like Luis, who's really good at doing hip-hop, and we might have some special guests coming in pretty soon. Anyway, this is IRmageddon within the DAW. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for your time. Bye.